Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Around the Table with the AOTR. I'm Cy Marie here with my co-host Beverly L. Anderson, and tonight we're honored to welcome a rising force in music, Vonte Seven. Vonte is a multi-genre artist whose work spans rap, hip hop, and R&B, and his 2021 album Seven's World and singles like Positive Difference and Her Own have made waves across streaming platforms. He's not just a performer, he's a producer, a storyteller, and a voice for his generation. Vonte, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, we're so glad to have you. And your music carries such a message that I'm excited to dig into all the stories behind it.
Definitely. I can't wait to, shed my light as much as possible.
Absolutely. So, your work is obviously layered, the vibe, message, and everything is its own movement. So, let's get into that. So, my first question is your sound blends rap, hip hop, and R&B with real emotional depth. What first pulled you into music, and when did you know that that was your lane?
So, as a lot of artists probably will tell you, music is not just a part of me, but it is me. I live, breathe, eat, sleep music. So, it's kind of hard to say what first got me in. There's so many different things from me playing the trumpet to me joining chorus in high school. But two, if you ask me, of the biggest influential factors to me starting to actually write and record music were the first instance was my cousin 1001. He came over around like seventh grade, I want to say. And I hadn't seen him in a while, but he came by and he was like, "Yo, check out what I've been doing." And he started to play some of the music that he was creating, and I was like, "You recorded that?" Like it sounded really good. It sounded like radio quality music, and I was like, "You did that?" He just let me know, like, "Yeah, this is what I've been working on." Then that was like the first time that I realized, like, oh, okay, this is actually like possible. You can do this. So that was one thing that opened the door for me to start creating music. And then like when I was in college, I wasn't doing anything music related for a while. Like after like the first semester, I was like, okay, I gotta join chorus or something. And then I just bumped into a couple guys who wanted to make music too, and we all got together and started recording like out of one of my buddy's apartments, like closets, just random. But we started making music together, started making beats, and started recording. And from there, I was just like, yeah, this is me. Like this is what I want to do, like for the rest of my life, honestly.
That's really cool to hear. It's always interesting to hear where somebody comes from with their music. So, next question is your album, Seven's World, dropped in 2021 and still resonates today. What was the emotional or creative spark behind this particular project?
Basically, with my album Seven's World, honestly, I had a lot of music that I had been working on, and a couple songs that I didn't even get to put on the album. But there was just so much that I was doing, and I was like, yo, I got to put together some type of project. And I had never put out my own solo project before. I've been on other projects with other friends and featured on other, some of my homies' different releases, mixtapes, albums, etc. But I never came out with my own things. I was just like, what can I do? And I was just thinking, I was like, y'all, I just want to let people know like what it looks like from my eyes, give people a piece of my world. I don't know. I just came up with the album. The album title Seven's World. Really, me and my dad were talking about it for a while. Like one day, he just told me he was like, "It's your world. Do what you please. Figure out what you want and make it happen." So when he said that, it just like rang a bell, and I was like, "My world," and then I was like, "Seven's World." So that's the intro to my album, My World, and that's kind of what sparked everything when I first made that song. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is going to be the intro to my album. And then I'll just kind of make songs that resonate with me, who I am, and different things that I've been through.
That makes sense. That brings me to my next question. Positive Difference feels like a mission statement. What were you trying to shift or name with that track?
So with Positive Difference, it was at first it was just kind of a song that I was just making like for myself, like to motivate myself, like, and eventually like as I was writing, I was like, this could be something really inspirational for not just myself, but for anybody. So with the song, I was just I was just thinking, like, when I first started to do it, I was thinking about motivating myself. And then I started to think, like, okay, well, how can I motivate others as well? Or what are things that other people go through that I go through that I can help them, you know, focus on, or, things to help them uplift them as a person or motivate them to being greater and to being the positive difference in the world. Because there's a lot of everything going on out there, but everybody's not pushing a positive message, and everybody's not necessarily trying to be a positive individual or a positive role model for other people to look at. So for me, that's what I was really trying to name or shift with that. I was just like, let's do something positive and get something motivating for the people.
That's really inspiring, honestly. I'm really impressed with your thoughts on it. That leads to our next one about a different song. So, Her Own is a powerful tribute to feminine autonomy. Sorry, I always get that word wrong. Was that inspired by someone close to you, or it was a broader cultural offering?
With the song Her Own, I actually like it wasn't inspired by anyone in particular, but in my life I've met a lot of women, especially black women in my life, that have been like they they're the breadwinners. They're, you know what I mean? Like, they're running stuff. They're the bosses, you know what I mean? So I just wanted to make a song for all the boss women out there and like empower them to keep being the great women that they are, and being leaders, and you know what I mean? Like, not depending on anybody else to do whatever they want to do, or to set their mind to whatever they want to accomplish, or to become whoever they want to become.
The solid foundation women.
Definitely.
So that brings me to Bad Thoughts, which hits with the raw vulnerability. Was that written in a moment of rupture or more as a reflection?
Bad Thoughts actually, funny story. I actually wrote that song on a live while I was live streaming. At least the vast majority of the song. I didn't write the entire piece, but it started off. The inception of the song started off on live, and I took some suggestions from some of the people who were in my chat at the time, and they let me know, like, okay, what type of vibe are we going for? I kind of just vibed out on a beat, and then I was like, hey, this kind of has this kind of feel. And then I asked them, like, what should we talk about? And then they started talking about, you know, just like being lost, or, you know what I mean? Not knowing exactly which way to go, and sometimes, fighting bad thoughts, or battling with yourself, you know what I mean? Sometimes we're our own worst critics. So a lot of people just started like spitting out different stuff like that. And I was like, okay. And then from there, just bar by bar, we started piecing it together. It just came out to be a really miraculous thing, if you ask me, because there's a lot of people who listen to that song now and they're like, hey, I was in a bad mood today, or I wasn't really feeling, everything that was going on in my life today, but I turned on your song and it completely turned my day around. Like, I feel good now. It wasn't necessarily a moment of rupture, but it was definitely reflection, because I had to look back at places in my life where I necessarily didn't. Um, I'm not gonna say that I didn't love myself, but I was dealing with self hate, or I was dealing with confusion, anxiety, depression, things like that. You know what I mean? I had to reflect on those moments in my life in order to be able to portray that within the music.
That's really fantastic. I think in this day and age, talking about those mental health issues and those thoughts is really important. So, the next question I have for you is, you're active on Instagram and streaming platforms. How exactly do you balance the visibility with authenticity in a space that often demands performance?
All right. So, as far as balancing visibility with authenticity, um, when whether it's a post, or it's me live, or I'm making a reel, a short, a story post, anything like that, honestly, I just try to. Let me not say I try to be me. I just be me, and um, I post things that resonate with my soul. I post things that make me laugh, or post things that I feel as though might make someone else laugh. I post things that I feel inspire me creatively, whether it's me singing a short 15-second ukulele cover or it's me posting a dance video to a new challenge that I seen that looked fun. No matter what, I try to just post things that resonate with my soul. So then I know that other people who watch it, if they're inspired by it or attracted to it, I know it resonated with theirs as well. And that's how I kind of nail the whole authenticity half of it. As far as visibility, it's just about posting, which is something that I could definitely get better with. Sometimes I'm too overly critical, or I'll create something and I'll save it to my drafts and I won't post it, or I'll forget about it. It's just about posting stuff and not being afraid to be yourself and to post and to put yourself out there, because everybody's not going to like what you create at the end of the day. But everything that you create isn't for everybody that sees what you create. You know, people who are attracted to it, people who will gravitate to it, are the people that were meant to see what you put out. But everybody's not going to like everything you do. So just create and don't be too overly critical. If you ask me, that's how you nail the whole visibility and authenticity part of it.
Right, exactly. Staying authentic is what it's about because, like you said, not everybody is going to like what you do, but the ones that are going to like it are going to probably love it. So do it for them. Pay attention to that because those are the loudest supporters, anyways. With what you said regarding creativity, what's one part of your creative process that fans would never guess? Something behind the scenes that shapes everything but rarely gets named.
My whistle is exactly what people would never guess is a part of my creative process. Uh, it's like the criminal mastermind behind a lot of my songs and the melodies behind my songs, the things that make my songs catchy. It's my whistle. A lot of times, whether my friend sends me a beat or I just pull something up on YouTube or I go according to one of my own beats, I'll just start whistling melodies and I'll record it. And after I record the whistle, and this is just me freestyling off the top, whatever comes, like, at the moment, whatever I'm feeling, that's what comes out. I'll freestyle it and then I'll go back and I'll listen to it for like melodies that I really liked or that were really catchy or that stuck to me. And I was like, that was good. That one hit right there. And then I'll just add words to it and boom, I got the first bar, I got the first half of a hook just off of my whistle. So that's the part that I would say most people wouldn't know it unless they were in the studio with me while I was recording.
Well, that is really cool. I don't think I would have ever guessed whistling, but that's really cool. So you've built a really nice discography that spans vibe, message, and mood. What is the next sonic terrain you want to explore? Something you haven't touched yet?
Basically, about a year ago, I bought a ukulele and I've been playing that here and there. I haven't been giving it as much attention as I need to, but me and my ukulele, we got a nice relationship when I'm actually in the zone and I'm playing her. I want to get more into acoustic music. I'd like to do some country as well, but just mainly like acoustic vibes. I want to make music that I can create that doesn't require anything digital. I want to get into like recording more stuff live too. And I just feel like if I start making more acoustic music, then that'll get me more into that type of feel, genre, and scene. And like I said, I didn't like country for a lot in my life until like the last couple of years of my life, and then I started liking it, and I was like, could, I could, I could create stuff like this. That's where I'm at. If you ask me personally, acoustic and some country, but I'm open to all genres though. Honestly, I just like creating music. So if I find someone else who does a different genre, I love to collab with different artists that don't make the same type of sound that I create, if you will.
So, for our musicians listening, talk to Vonte. That is really awesome. I love the authenticity coming off that. And you're really giving like that acoustic soulful vibe and like old jazzy blues is what I'm feeling. Like I think you're
Yeah,
good at that.
yeah, definitely, definitely.
So, do you see your music as a part of a larger legacy? And if so, what do you hope it inscribes for future listeners?
I definitely see my music as part of a larger legacy. I feel as though all it takes is one song to really, really start a movement and stuff like that. So me personally, I really hope that it describes hope for future listeners. Like I said before, Bad Thoughts was the first and the only mental health awareness song that I've made thus far, but there's so many people who tell me like, hey, your song, I played it today, it made me feel good. And that alone means a lot to me, just knowing that there's people that I haven't talked to in years and they still come back to me and they're like, hey, when are you going to put out some more music? Like, I love this, or I love this song, or I still listen to this song today. And it means a lot to me. But most importantly, I'm just trying to spread hope and inspire others to follow their dreams. For any future listeners that listen to my music, I hope that it inspires them to go for whatever it is that resonates within their soul, their passions, and their deepest desires and their interests. I hope that it inspires them to follow follow.
Wow, that's actually a nice lead in for our next question. That if a young black artist came to you asking how to stay sovereign in this industry, what's the first thing you would tell them?
So the first thing I tell them to stay sovereign in this industry is to simply be yourself. Like I said before, everybody's not gonna like what you create, but everything that you create is not for everybody. So just create and be yourself. Don't be afraid to be yourself, and just really don't get into your mind so much about whether people are going to like what you create. No, just create what you create because it resonates with your soul, because you feel it in your heart, because you feel it when you create it and you like it. You know what I mean? If this is something that you like to do, then just do it. That's the best advice that I could tell you, because there's going to be millions of people out there with opinions, but at the end of the day, you can't pay attention to the negative ones too much. You can learn things from people's negative opinions. You can definitely extract constructive criticism from some of the worst, nastiest comments. But at the end of the day, you should be pouring your energy into the people that like what you do, the people that enjoy what you do. You should be pouring your energy into the people that support you, the people that are considered your fans, and the people that really believe in you versus, everyone else, the trolls, the non-believers, the haters, etc. So that's what I would say would pretty much keep someone sovereign in this industry. Just be yourself and don't be afraid to be yourself.
I totally agree with everything said there. It basically goes down to observe, but don't absorb it. Consider the source and what they're saying before you take it to heart, because a lot of people will project onto you, and then there will be other people who really take inspiration and they're impacted. And where focus goes, energy flows, as the saying says.
Indeed.
Leading into my next question, can you share a moment in your career that felt especially validating? Like, yeah, I'm really doing this.
Yeah. So this is like my third time bringing it up, but like I said, when people came to me telling me about the song Bad Thoughts, that means a lot to me, especially because like I've been there. Like I say it in the song, I've been there before. We all have, if you ask me. You've been down in the dumps, you've been maybe quote unquote depressed, or been dealing with anxiety, but it's nice to know that people use my music as a natural remedy for what they're going through. And not just that, but honestly, anytime someone uses one of my songs, for regardless of what it is, whether they're doing something positive with it or they're doing something weird with it, I really don't even care. The fact that people use my songs in stories, in reels, in TikToks, in etc., etc. Whatever way, shape, or form they use it, I'm honored just to know that someone is using the things that I create. And every single time, like, it doesn't matter who it is, like whether it's one of my friends, one of my family, someone that I don't even know. It's sometimes it hits a little bit better when it's someone that I don't know, especially like if they're like nowhere near me, like, you know what I mean? Like, how did you even hear my music? It's very inspiring. It's like, whoa, okay, I'm touching someone that I probably never would have even met in my life, but they're listening to my music or they're using it in content. And that's beautiful to me. That is one of the most honoring feelings that I've ever felt, honestly. But yeah, that's what helps me really feel like, yeah, I'm really doing this and it's making a difference.
And really, that's what it's all about. Every time we can make a difference in somebody's life, that is exciting and fantastic. So, I guess since you made a difference with all of these songs, What projects are you currently working on that excite you the most?
So right now, I've been working on my next album for a while now. I've had a lot of setbacks, but I'm still working on it, and I'm not gonna give up on it. Of course, it's my music. But my next project is titled Mind Over Matter, and I got a lot of songs that are kind of like positive difference. I was focused on creating things that were motivational, that were inspirational, that were uplifting, and stuff like that, so that not just for myself but for anyone who listens to my music, just something to really uplift people's spirits and get them up and going, and get them active and increasing their drive and stuff like that. So like I said, Mind Over Matter, that's what I've been working on for the last probably year or two now, and I'm gonna keep working on it. I've created most of the beats that are on the album, and I wrote all the songs like in the midst of the night before I even created the beats. So it's like it's all me, the vast majority of it. There's a couple beats that are come from other people, but the vast majority of it is me, and it's like it's all me. So you get to really feel fully like me, Vonte Seven, and where I come from. It's me from the music down to the lyrics, down to the voice that's on the song. So, it's just fully me. And that's what's really exciting me the most. I can't wait to finish it, and I can't wait to be able to share that with everyone who's been in tune with my music for the last couple of years.
Finally, how do you envision the future of music and message in a world that's constantly shifting? What's your hope for the next generation of artists?
Honestly, I envision the future of music being more positive. I see more people creating more uplifting and more conscious music, and that's what I believe will keep coming here in the future. Um, we'll have more music with a message. If you ask me personally, I feel like the next generation of artists is they're hearing what's coming out now, and I don't think everyone wants to just keep following that same wave of you know a lot of what I would consider like ego rap, where people are just rapping or creating music that is like promoting like being better than someone else, or like stunting on someone else, or showing off whatever they have. You know what I mean? Whether it comes to like riches or cars, clothes, this and that, superficial things, if you ask me. So I feel like more people are going to start creating more conscious music, more uplifting music, music that is going to raise people's vibrations, if you ask me.
That's awesome. That's the way that it needs to shift more than anything because, yeah, we need to get to a higher frequency as a whole collective, I think. But Monte, thank you for sharing your voice, your vision, and your story with us tonight. Your music is more than sound, it's a signal. And real quick, where can our listeners connect with you online or to listen to your music, which I'll be adding in the description to the episode?
If anybody wants to check out my music, my name is Vonte Seven on all streaming platforms. That's VONTE space seven. And you can check me out on Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, or pretty much anything else. All social medias and stuff like that. If you want to add me, Vonte Seven, you should be able to find me. Yeah, you can listen, tap in, and use my music and content if you create content as well.
That's awesome. We're honored to have you on Around the Table with the AOTR.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much for this opportunity.
Absolutely. So keep creating, keep leading, and keep making that positive difference.
Amen. Amen. I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
To our listeners, stay tuned, stay sovereign, and we'll see you next time. Have a good night.